The short-term run here on the video report with complimentary plays over the past month: 27 wins, 14 losses, and a push. I'll take it, and so will you. 3 more complimentary plays in the dance coming your way in just a moment. I'm going to take a look at the games between Stephen F. Austin and Notre Dame. Also, Texas A&M and Northern Iowa, and the game that I think is one of the hardest to handicap, but perhaps the most entertaining to watch today. 2 teams that are pretty much mirror images of each other: St. Joe's and Oregon. That's all coming up in just a moment. Let's take a quick look, though, at how this tournament is broken down from a point spread perspective. As I alerted to you yesterday in the video report, the favorites went 9-7 in first round play on Thursday, but then the dogs came back and posted the same number, going 9-7 on Friday. So you had a 16-16 split, favorites and dogs right down the middle in first round play. But yesterday, the favorites went 5-2-1, with the push being accorded to Virginia. And I'll talk more about that game in just a moment at length. Now, the lone double-digit chalk yesterday was North Carolina. After a sluggish first half, they got the job done against Providence. Double-digit favorites, now 9-5 in the tournament. 9 underdogs have won outright, 2 of them yesterday, those being Indiana against Kentucky and Miami of Florida. Although I got to tell you, I don't understand why Miami of Florida was an underdog. People fell in love, the gambling public and the odds makers knew it with Wichita State. But Missouri Valley Conference team, ACC team, I didn't get it, especially when you consider Wichita State, is a backcourt-driven team. And, of course, Miami has a senior-laden backcourt, 2 fifth-year seniors, a 3-guard lineup. Now, did Miami blow almost all of a 27-point lead yesterday? You bet they did, but they still got the win, but they should have been favored in the damn contest. Of course, a couple of games yesterday came right down there, depending on when you bet the game. Duke and Yale was all over the board. Same thing with the Virginia game as well. Now, listen, I've always been a proponent, and I've always said to you that 99.9% of the time, you bet the favorites early and the underdogs late. And I've also said to you, the reason that you have to have at least 2 betting sources is because of exactly what happened in yesterday's games that I just mentioned, with featuring Duke and Virginia. Listen, there are a couple of big-name sports books out there, and I never mention the names. I don't want to get in that whole realm of whether it's legal or not to promote offshore sports books. That's why I never have mentioned names. Plus, nobody's paying me for an endorsement, so the hell with these people, too, But the bottom line is you can figure it out yourself. A couple of big-name sports books will generally always pay more the price you are paying for the favorite. Which isn't beneficial when you're betting the chalks. But hell, when you're on the underdogs, why not take that extra half point, whether it's football or basketball, for free, right? Now, the Virginia game, though, let's talk about that one in specific. You had a Virginia team last night that game closed at 8.5. Early in the day, it was 7. At one point around 10:30, 11 o'clock Eastern time, it went up a half a point. Then it moved to 7.5, went up to 8, came back to 7.5. It was all over the board. Guys, often you have to look as a gambler and you have to anticipate where you think the public is going to drive a line. Now, if you adhere to my philosophy that 99% of the time you go ahead and play the favorites early, well, you walked away with a win on Virginia. You walked away with a Duke win yesterday with ease as well. But let's back up a day. And let's go back to Kansas's first round game on Thursday. Kansas. Now, depending on when you played that game, it was either a win, a push, maybe even a loss. But here's the thing. If you had played that early on Thursday, you would have probably pushed or lost that game. Yes, you had to go against my philosophy of playing the favorites early. Why? Because you have to look, it's a situational play. When you have these massive double-digit favorites in the first round of the tournament, generally, the public has this preconceived notion that, oh my gosh, I got to play the big double-digit dogs because the favorites just don't care. And listen, sometimes they don't care. Think North Carolina against Florida Gulf Coast. That's one of the reasons I told you to take the Eagles plus the 23 points in that game. And hell, they covered easily. They were up a point at halftime, okay? In that particular game, involving Kansas, though, you had to realize that the public was going to come in here and take the points on the dog. So it behooved you to simply wait it out, wait till the public came in, put their money down, and suppress that line. So listen, the bottom line is this. There's an exception to every single rule. But as a gambler. You have to think like I do as a handicapper, and you have to look for those situational plays. And as I said, first round of the tournament, when you're dealing with double-digit dogs, yes, the dogs often are the way to go. But, and yes, there had to be a but, you have to certainly look at a particular game and realize if it's a nighttime game, is the public going to come in? Is the public going to grab those points? Is the public going to push the line down? Because if you're in love with the favorite, then you've got to wait and not make that play instantly. So again, it's just something to think about. Also, something to think about here. You realize baseball is going to be starting here just in a couple of weeks. Baseball is without a doubt the easiest sport to make money in. Although a number, more than a number, let's say 75% of the handicappers in this business, they hang up their shingle the minute the tournament is over. They don't even wait around for the NBA playoffs and forget about going into baseball. They just don't want to be bothered. Dumb move. Baseball, the easiest sport to make money, always has been my best sport, even long before I got into this business. Yes, you have to realize it's a grind. It's a summer-long grind. But the reason that it's the easiest sport to make money is because it's a grind. Because you have teams playing a minimum of 5-6 games every single week. You know that your favorite pitchers that you can chart, and I'm a big believer that pitchers go in streaks of 3 good or 3 bad starts, and you want to try to jump on and off those bandwagons and pick your spots. Hey, they're going every 4th or 5th day. So baseball gives you something that no other sports gives you. It gives you frequency. And frequency, in terms of the number of games, also gives you patterns to develop. And that makes baseball betting easy. Now, you also know that I always say that in the opening 3 weeks of any season, that's the only time you have the advantage over the odds makers, and baseball will be no different. I plan on winning again. I've won 13 of the past 17 baseball seasons. I don't see why anything's going to change this year. This is the time of year, personally, is tough for me because not only am I handicapping, the dance games and the NIT games and the college insider games and the CBI games and the ABC tournament games, but, I'm also charting all the pitchers because this stage of spring training is when guys are no longer playing and facing, hitters that are going to be targeted to the minor leagues, ticketed to the minor leagues. You're now seeing most of your starters go a good 5 innings. These are the starts that count when they're playing against A-League competition for the next 2 weeks. And those are the guys that you want to ride often in the opening weeks of the season. So again, don't abandon baseball. NBA playoffs, also another thing not to abandon. You realize the style of play, is different in the postseason than in the regular season. So you're not going to see the run and gun. You're going to see more half-court sets. You're going to see more defensive-oriented battles. That makes handicapping the NBA so much easier. Yeah, it's a long, drawn-off process. The damn season doesn't end till, August 1st? Of course, I'm embellishing here, but you know the deal. So again, it's a great time to make money, and I hope you stick around. Let's get to, listen, all your promos and stuff like that. It was a great day, by the way, for the handicappers here at the site. Shawn Michaels hit another 100-dime winner yesterday as he cashed in with who? Was it North Carolina last night as his 4th straight 100-dime basketball release in college hoops. Hit the final 2 that he had last year in the big dance. Came back with Notre Dame on Friday night. Came back yesterday with Kansas. That's who he was on. You got it as the half-price play of the day each of the past 2 days. And guess what? Half-price play of the day again today is going to be his 100-dime college basketball winner number 5 in a row on Xavier and Wisconsin using coupon code SEAN, S-E-A-N. Props going out to Josh Duffy. His first 100-dime release in college basketball this season was also 100-dime winner number 10 out of, checking the record, 10 out of 14 since he joined the site as he cashed in with Duke over Yale. He has another one going today. You get it again for over half price off. This one on the Notre Dame Stephen F. Austin game. And, of course, Steve Buden's Cali Cartel did it again. 100-dime winner number 5 out of 6 last night on North Carolina. They have 6 out of 7 going today on the early game between Villanova and Iowa. And it's another play that you get a substantial discount, just like every single one of the previous 6 100-dime releases. And that coupon code is also available over on the homepage. Okay, let's get to your complimentary plays and start breaking these games down. First one I want to take a look at, reverse chronological order, is going to be the Oregon game against St. Joe's in Spokane. Listen, Spokane isn't exactly in Eugene, but it's not that far away. I mean, it's like 465 miles, so it's as close to a home game as the Oregon Ducks can get. And Oregon was 6-1 on neutral courts this season. But you got a St. Joe's team that was 16-2 on the road and on neutral courts this season. Road and neutral courts combined, 16-2. You got a St. Joe's team that played one hell of a game against a tough defensive squad in Cincinnati. What a great finish to that game. Controversial, but hey, St. Joe's got the win. You've got two teams that really mirror each other. Both teams put plenty of points on the board. Oregon averages 79.2. St. Joe's averages 77.6. Neither team has much size or length, but they're very athletic. They love to run the floor. In this game, however, I would lean toward laying the points with Oregon for one reason. Where the Ducks coasted against Holy Cross, I mean, it was a blowout game from the get-go the other night. The latter game was St. Joe's against Cincinnati. And you know, again, the Hawks were extended in a physical game to the very last minute. Isaiah Miles and Andre Bembry, their two top players, pretty much went the distance in that one. I think that fatigue will wear St. Joe's down here ultimately because Oregon's got a rotation with Dana Altman's club that goes 8 or 9 deep. They've got like 4 or 5 double-digit scores. I think they've got like 6 guys averaging over 9 points a game. They just come at you in waves, and I think that's going to be the difference here. So although both teams score a lot of points, both teams also shoot a lot of three-pointers, I think Oregon is going to be able to pull away here and get the cover. In not a home game, but certainly they will be the fan favorite in that particular contest. Your next complimentary play is Texas A&M minus the 6.5 points against Northern Iowa. Now listen, guys, I'm doing this report for you at 6 o'clock Eastern time in the morning. I wouldn't be surprised if the Aggies go up here to 7.5 by game time. This one, of course, is in Oklahoma City. So again, the Aggies are going to have the close as you can get home court advantage in this one. A week ago today, they were losing to Kentucky 82-77 in the SEC final. Did they let that game affect them when they came out the other night and just destroyed Wisconsin Green Bay? Absolutely not. Beat them up by 27 points. Meanwhile, Northern Iowa, you know what happened in that game against Texas, right? Northern Iowa has a 10-point lead, I think, at halftime. Texas goes on this incredible roll. It's a nip-and-tuck affair. It looks like it's going to overtime. And then the guy from Northern Iowa hits that incredible shot. I can't even say it was a half-court shot because he was another few feet beyond the half-court line to give them the 75-72 win. I just have a thing about Cinderella's slippers falling off at a certain stage in the tournament. It's the reason that I went against Connecticut yesterday. It's the reason I'm going to go against Northern Iowa today. Texas A&M is a deeper team. It's a better defensive team. It's a bigger team size-wise, and it should dominate on the boards just like it did against a smaller Wisconsin Green Bay team on a Friday night. And I think this is a damn cheap price to take a team from the SEC against a team from Jesus, who am I thinking of? Missouri Valley. Gosh, almost forgot where the hell they played. Okay, I just think that this is a good spot to go ahead and take Texas A&M, and I think they are a damn cheap price in this one. Now, the Cinderella team whose slipper is not going to fall out, for whom the clock will not strike midnight today, that's Stephen F. Austin. I'm impressed. But listen, you know, this is not like a team that anybody's really familiar with. They play in the Southland Conference. Go ahead, name me one other team that plays in the Southland Conference. Hey, and if you can name one, listen, I got to go look it up as well because I don't know who the hell it would be. But this is a team that's 53-1 in Southland Conference play over the past 3 years. 89-13 overall. 89-13 overall the Lumberjacks are over the past 3 years, regular and postseason combined. I'm going to take them as the 1.5 underdog, and I say they beat Notre Dame. Listen, the Irish had to rally from a double-digit deficit on Friday night in the late game to beat so-so Michigan team that was playing its 5th game in 9 days. You saw what happened to Notre Dame in their ACC last tournament game when they got annihilated by North Carolina when the Tar Heels beat them up in revenge. You got a Stephen F. Austin team that loves to run the floor. A team that totally dominated West Virginia the other night. You know, we all talk about Bob Huggins and that full court press and how West Virginia forces turnovers. You know, West Virginia wasn't number 1 in the nation in terms of forcing turnovers. That honor goes to Stephen F. Austin. And you see Notre Dame's ball handlers, not exactly the greatest, okay? I mean, Demetrius Jackson, good, but they're going to have problems against this suffocating defense today. Stephen F. Austin forced West Virginia into what was it? I'm just looking here. 22 turnovers in that 70-56 win. 22 turnovers. And the Mountaineers only shot 30 in that game. They're going to unleash their version of Havoc, to steal from VCU's trademark there. They're going to release their version of Havoc today on Notre Dame, and I don't think the Irish are going to be able to do it. Now, listen, a lot of people were in love with one of the Cinderellas yesterday in Arkansas, Little Rock. They didn't get the job done. Stephen F. Austin, I think, will today. This Notre Dame team really, I think, hit its peak late January, early February, and since then has just been a mediocre club. I'm going to go once again with Stephen F. Austin here. Number 1 in the nation in turnovers forced, 18.73 a game. Number 10 in scoring defense, giving up just a little under 63 points a game. Number 23 in scoring, averaging close to 81 points a game. Number 22 in field goal percentage, hitting at a 47.9% clip. And let me frame that for you. The team right ahead of them is Kentucky, hitting at a 48% clip. So Stephen F. Austin is going to be your other free play. If I had to rank these selections, I would say the plays that I obviously like the most are Texas A&M and Stephen F. Austin. I take either one of them. I considered either one of them as my best bet today. Oregon, I don't want to say it's a hunch because I really do like the Ducks to wear St. Joe's down in the second half, but I think of the 3 complimentary plays, I think they're the riskiest of them all. Well, that'll do it, guys. I wish you well. And back again on Monday when we have all the Mickey Mouse tournaments. Oh, did I say that? Yes, all the Mickey Mouse college tournaments, and we'll handicap those and talk about them as well. Good luck, everybody. Catch you again on Monday.